There's a moment, quiet but piercing, when you wake up one morning and realize you're not sure why you're here. Not in the physical sense. You know you have to get up, go to work, pay the bills, answer the emails. But in the deeper sense, why this life? Why this path? Why you? It's a question that doesn't just knock at the door of your mind. It seeps through the cracks, echoing in every empty pause of your day. And the truth is, most people never really answer it. They distract themselves. They fill the silence with noise. They cling to routines like lifeboats, afraid that if they stop for even a second, they'll hear that question too clearly. The search for purpose isn't a luxury reserved for philosophers, monks, or people with too much time on their hands. It's not some deep thing you do when you're older and have seen the world. It's the compass of your life. The thing that, when you're aligned with it, makes even the hardest days bearable. And when you're out of sync with it, makes even the best days feel strangely hollow. Without purpose, your life becomes a series of tasks to complete. With it, every task becomes a step in a much larger, more meaningful journey. But here's the truth most people don't like to admit. Purpose isn't something you find, like a hidden treasure buried under a rock. It's not a lightning bolt moment where the universe whispers your mission into your ear. It's something you build. It's something you shape. Slowly, painfully, imperfectly. Out of your choices, your experiences, your struggles, and your moments of clarity. And that means the search for purpose is not passive. It's active. It requires movement, curiosity, and the courage to let go of what doesn't fit. When you think about purpose, it's tempting to imagine it as something grand and dramatic. Writing a best-selling book, starting a company, building schools in remote villages. And while those are beautiful purposes, they are not the only ones. For some, purpose is raising a child with love and patience. For others, it's creating beauty through art, even if no one ever sees it. For someone else, it might simply be living in a way that leaves every person they meet a little better than they found them. The scale of your purpose doesn't matter. What matters is that it feels alive in you, that it lights something inside you that refuses to be extinguished. The danger is that most of us inherit our purpose from others without realizing it. We adopt our parents' dreams, society's definitions of success, or the path that seems safest, and we convince ourselves it's ours. We take a job because it pays well, not because it aligns with who we are. We choose relationships out of comfort, not connection. We fill our time with activities that keep us busy, but not fulfilled. And then, years later, we wake up one day with that gnawing feeling. Whose life am I living? If that's where you are now, if you feel lost, disconnected, unsure of where you're going, you are not broken. You're not behind. You're not failing. You are simply being called to stop living on autopilot. That feeling of emptiness is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that something inside you is ready to awaken. And the first step in finding your purpose is listening to it. But listening is hard in a world that constantly screams for your attention. You have algorithms feeding you content, advertisers pulling at your desires, responsibilities weighing on your time. Your phone lights up before the sun does, and by the time you lay down at night, you've spent more hours reacting than actually living. In that kind of noise, purpose becomes just another word, something abstract, something you might think about later. And so later never comes. This is why people confuse being busy with being purposeful. You can have a full calendar and an empty heart. You can achieve everything you thought you wanted and still feel that quiet ache inside. Purpose isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right things. The things that align with your deepest values, your authentic self. and the vision you have for your life. So here's the hard question you need to ask yourself. If no one was watching, if there were no likes, no approval, no applause, what would you do with your days? What would be worth your time? What would make you feel alive? Most people never ask themselves this because the answer might mean change. It might mean walking away from a career, a relationship, a city, from the safety of what you know. And change is terrifying. But staying in a life that doesn't belong to you is far more dangerous. Because the years pass whether you're living fully or just surviving. Your purpose will always be tied to who you truly are, not who you've been told to be. And that means the first step in discovering it is to reconnect with yourself. Strip away the layers of expectation. Question the rules you've accepted without thinking. Allow yourself to imagine different possibilities, even if they don't make sense yet. Purpose isn't out there, waiting for you. It's already inside you, waiting for you to stop long enough to hear it. And when you do, when you catch even a glimpse of what it could be, you'll feel it in your chest, like a spark that's been trying to ignite for years. That's the moment you start moving, not because someone told you to, but because you can't not move. That's when the search stops feeling like a desperate hunt and starts feeling like coming home. Once you've caught that first spark of what your purpose might be, the real work begins. Not the kind of work you do for a paycheck, but the inner work of aligning your life to it. And here's where most people stumble. They think purpose is a destination. They imagine one day they'll arrive at the perfect job, in the perfect city, with the perfect partner, and suddenly everything will make sense forever. But purpose is not a fixed point you reach. It's a living thing, constantly growing, evolving, shifting with the seasons of your life. What gave you purpose at 20 may not be what fulfills you at 40. What you once chased with passion might lose its meaning over time. And that's not failure. It's proof you're alive. Your needs change. Your values deepen. The way you serve the world expands. If you cling too tightly to an old version of your purpose, you risk becoming a prisoner of it. The courage to live with purpose is also the courage to let it transform. Think of purpose like a river. It has a source, something deep within you. But as it flows, it bends, it widens, it narrows, it changes course. Sometimes it runs clear and fast. Other times it slows to a trickle. There will be seasons when it feels effortless and seasons when you have to fight to keep moving forward. And that's the beauty of it. Purpose isn't static. It's a relationship you have with yourself and the world, one you have to nurture over and over again. But this is where fear comes in. Once you've built a life around a certain identity, it's terrifying to admit it no longer fits. You've invested years, energy, money, reputation, and walking away can feel like throwing all of that away. But the truth is, you don't lose those years. You carry their lessons with you. They were part of your training, shaping you into the person capable of living your next purpose. We live in a culture obsessed with certainty. People want clear answers, 5-year plans, guarantees. But purpose doesn't come with a map. It comes with a compass, a direction, not a detailed route. And that's why so many people avoid it, because it forces you to trust yourself, to take steps without knowing exactly where they lead. It asks you to trade the comfort of the known for the possibility of the meaningful. You will know you're living on purpose, not because everything is easy, but because even in difficulty, there's a sense of rightness. You'll face challenges, yes, but they'll feel worth it. You'll get tired, but you'll also feel alive. There's a kind of energy that comes from being aligned, a quiet confidence that says, This is mine to do. It's not about constant happiness. It's about deep fulfillment. And here's something important. Purpose is never just about you. If it begins and ends with your own comfort, it's not purpose. It's preference. True purpose always extends beyond yourself. It ripples out into the lives of others. It adds something to the world, even if it's small, even if it's invisible to most people. The teacher who changes one student's life, the friend who listens without judgment, the neighbor who plants a tree whose shade they'll never sit under. These are all acts of purpose. If you want to find yours, you have to start asking better questions. Instead of, what do I want from life? Ask, what does life want from me? Instead of, how can I be happy? Ask, how can I be useful? Happiness is a byproduct of purpose, not the other way around. When you pour yourself into something that matters, joy comes naturally, not as a constant high, but as a steady undercurrent that carries you through the hard days. But how do you get there if you feel stuck? If you have no idea what your purpose might be? You start where you are. Look at your life as it is now. What are the moments, however small, that give you a sense of meaning? When do you lose track of time because you're so immersed in what you're doing? What problems in the world stir something in you? Not just sadness or anger, but a deep urge to help, to change, to fix. These are clues. Follow them. Purpose isn't found in thinking about it endlessly. It's found in action. You test, you try, you fail, you adjust. You step into situations that might feel uncertain just to see how they fit. And little by little, patterns emerge. The more you say yes to what feels alive in you and no to what drains you, the more your life begins to take shape around your purpose. And remember, there is no perfect purpose. There is only the purpose you choose to commit to right now. You don't have to wait until you have it all figured out. You just have to begin. And when you begin, something shifts. You start moving through the world differently. You pay more attention. You connect more deeply. You stop measuring your life only by achievements and start measuring it by alignment, by how much of your day is spent on things that matter to you. One day, you will look back and realize that purpose wasn't a single discovery you made in a flash of insight. It was the sum of 1,000 small choices, 1,000 quiet moments when you decided to live with intention instead of drifting. And that's the secret. Purpose isn't about finding yourself. It's about creating yourself. So if you're searching, keep going. If you're lost, trust that the path will reveal itself in motion. And if you're afraid, good. Fear is a sign you're standing at the edge of something real. Step forward anyway. Because the world doesn't need more people who are simply busy. It needs more people who are alive with purpose. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what you were born to be. Wondering how to keep your mind aligned with your purpose? I made a video for that. It's on your screen right now. Click the power of positive thinking and keep your momentum